Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my Avengers Endgame spoiler review. I'm here with Venom, Vice President Venom. Say what's up.
What's up?
Alright, so finally, better late than never. As I had said, I was waiting to change. I was changing poses and the word change came out. I was waiting to finish my master's degree stuff before doing this. I haven't really been online all that much. But we're here now. And I saw this movie twice on opening night. I bought a ticket before I even went into the first showing, and then I went right back in again. When did you see it, Venom? Opening weekend, right?
Yeah, I saw it the early morning it came out.
Yeah. How many times you see it?
I've only seen it once. I want to see it again, but been busy with work.
Yeah, it's a big time commitment. I've seen it six
Yeah.
times.
Ooh,
Yeah. I
damn.
I almost went today, but I saw John Wick instead. All right,
Six
so
times. Jesus.
yeah, yep. I want to see it again. If it wasn't for that stupid master's degree project, I would have been seeing it every day.
That's like 18 hours, man.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is. Kiram just sent a message, screwed up the video. Anyway. Alright, so I guess we could just start at the beginning and kind of march through. Would you, so this is a spoiler review. Spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie by now, then you are a loser. No, I don't know. Okay, so, opening scene, what'd you think?
Opening scene. I thought it was interesting that it just started right off the bat.
Yeah,
Like playing. There was no intro.
yeah, that was a little
But
weird.
it kind of gave me the chills.
Mm-hmm.
It like really set the tone for like how serious and dark the ending of the last movie was.
Yeah, I like that it shows, that there's a lot of consequences. Actually, interesting thing about that scene, that was supposed to be the after credit scene in Endgame, or not in Endgame,
Oh,
in Infinity War, but
yeah, I knew what you meant.
instead they decided to put it at the beginning of this one just to kind of remind everybody, look, this happened.
So, was there an after credit scene in Infinity War?
Yeah, it was Nick Fury paging Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, okay.
Hmm. Yeah. So after that, it does like the Marvel logo thing, and then it immediately goes to the oh no, then it goes to Tony Stark floating through space. So a lot of people missed this or they didn't know. I think some of them didn't see Captain Marvel. So uh I don't know if you realize this or whatever, but so you know how she found Tony Stark, right? Because she had already met with the Avengers and Rocket told them to go find the ship. Told her to
Yeah,
go.
I never saw Captain Marvel.
Yeah. So she didn't just randomly show up. Like she was looking for that ship. And
Okay.
and Rocket knew it probably had a tracker on it. So that's how she found the ship and rescued Tony. I tried to watch as little as possible with this movie. So I had already known that Tony gets back to Earth because it was in the trailers, which I thought kind of ruined some of it.
Yeah.
Um, so then it goes to them going out and getting Thanos. What'd you think of that scene?
Oh, that that threw me off. The
Yeah.
whole thing with Thor too. I was just like, okay. Um, that happened.
You know, I was kind of expecting that because I was just expecting that the movie was not going to be them trying to rematch with Thanos. I thought it was going to be them trying to get the stones. What'd you think when he?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it made sense. It just threw me off because like it was a whole year of waiting this like to see this epic rematch or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's just boom right away chops off his head.
Yeah, man, that was dark. That was really dark.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool scene though.
Yeah, first they chopped off his I don't know what was your audience pretty lively?
Um, Not at that part.
A lot of people were like, "What?" At that part, first he chopped his arm off, then he was like, "Oh," and then he
Oh
just
yeah, yo, I totally forgot he chopped off the arm first.
yeah, and then Rocket kicked over the gauntlet and was like, the stones are missing," and then chopped that motherfucker head in half, and he was dead. I saw that coming.
Oh yeah, you know it's all coming back to me. It seemed like word for word because then he's like, I went for the head.
Yeah, yeah. And Thor really had a lot of anger, but we'll get to that. So right after they kill Thanos and there's no stones, it does a really slow 5 years later. This is another thing that I got ruined in the trailers, was because I knew that when Ant-Man comes back, it shows the neighborhood in the back and everything's all overgrown. So did you expect that?
No, I wasn't expecting it to be 5 years ahead. That caught me off guard.
That really made it dark because now the world is like, damn. Like, it's been 5 years since half the people died. And a lot of people were saying there's going to be a lot of situations like in Castaway. Did you see that one?
No.
With Tom Hanks? So he
Yeah, I
survives a
never saw it.
plane crash, but he washes ashore on a desert island that's uncharted. And he manages to survive there for 5 years till he builds a raft and gets picked up by a boat. So he comes back to his fiance, but she's already moved on. So a lot of people that come back, like their wives, have already probably remarried or husbands and started new families, and they're gonna come back and be like, I'm back."
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself,
Yeah, yeah.
but there's things like that where I'm confused.
Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So, anyways, 5 years go by, and you could tell it's like kind of like dark times, right? Captain Marvel's off
Yeah.
in the thing. Black Widow's sort of leading everything, and then So, how did your theater? How did you react when that rat inside of the van pushed the button and brought back Ant-Man?
Yeah. See, this theater was like loud at weird times. Like it wasn't half as lively as when I went and saw Infinity War a few times.
Oh, okay. Was it the same theater?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wow. That's strange. Anyway, you know why I buy the rat thing? Well, first of all, Doctor Strange has said there's like only a 14,506 or whatever chance. So I'll buy that. And plus, it had been 5 years, right? Over the course of 5 years, it's not like the rat had to start a sequence. It just pushed one button, right?
Yeah.
Rats trigger rat traps and mouse traps all the time, so it's stepping on something that's a sensitive button. I'll buy that. It took 5 years. It's not like 2 minutes later, the rat stepped on it. It was like 5 years had gone by. So
Yeah.
that's why I buy it, right? Do you have a problem with that?
No.
Yeah, I don't have that much of a problem. So I thought that was pretty cool. Ant-Man comes back. He sees the names on the wall. His daughter's like grown up, 5 years older.
That was a good scene. I like that scene.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see Ant-Man?
I saw the first one. I still haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes, he gets stuck in there at the very end of the second one. That's how he gets stuck in there.
Yeah.
Because the people that were supposed to bring him back get dusted by the Thanos snap. Just like people are getting snapped out of Red Dead Disconnection. Anyway. So he goes and talks to the Avengers, and that's when they go and talk to Tony Stark, because he's like, "Man, I think we could do time travel and shit." And then, what'd you think of like Tony's current state of being? Or what'd you think of him like when he was like all emaciated with Steve Rogers and fainted? I thought that was pretty good acting.
Yeah. That was a good scene, man.
Yeah, he
The
looked.
acting in this movie was really, really good.
Yeah. They say they might make a push for Best Actor for Robert Downey Jr. And I think it's going to get nominated for Best Picture just because of what it's accomplished. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over the course of 11 years. But anyway, I think it should win, actually, just because no film has ever done this. No studio has ever done this. It's the first time ever. It's incredible. All right. What'd you think of Tony's current like state of affairs? I was relieved when Pepper was alive, when he came off the ship, and she was there. I was like, oh, good, she's alive.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I was shocked when I found out that he had a fucking daughter at first because I totally forgot. Like between the year of Infinity War and Endgame, I forgot that
She
she
was
was
pregnant.
pregnant.
Yeah.
So it was like a shock at first. I was like, wait, huh? And then I remembered. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I was thinking to myself, like, because the whole way of them going back in time, I was thinking of it in the way of Back to the Future. You know,
No,
like,
they even.
oh,
Yeah, yeah,
if they go back, he won't have his daughter anymore.
yeah. No, no, no. They remember they even brought it Back to the Future. They made fun of that movie a lot
Yeah,
because a lot of that shit doesn't even make sense. How could you go to the future and see yourself as an old man? If you went to the future, you would just show up 20 years later and everybody'd be like, where have you been for 20 years? You know what I mean? Because you were gone.
yeah.
You wouldn't. How could you possibly see yourself in the future? Because it's your own future. But in this, I'm
Uh,
trust me. Listen, I'm gonna make a whole video. It's on my to-do list for this weekend about time travel in this universe, and I'll explain. We'll get into it. So, anyways, he's like, "Oh no, I can't do time travel. I got a kid and shit." And they're like, "Fuck." So then they leave. And then he talks to his fucking computer, and then he. This was a little. Certain things I buy because it's already 3 hours long, the movie. So he just like stays up one night and he's like, "Okay, I made a time machine." Hey, who's that? Look, I got an employee walking through. Get back to work. Anyway, so he does time travel, and do you think anything about that scene? You know what I liked about that scene was that he's talking to Pepper, and she finally just like you could tell that she accepts him for who he is, because for a long time she was trying to get him to quit. Remember?
yeah.
And then finally she's just like, yeah, trying to get you to quit is one of the biggest failures. It's the only failures in my life. And she knows, like, yeah, he can go to bed, but he won't be able to rest. So I thought that was cool. What would you think?
Yeah, I really liked what they did with her character. Besides one big thing that we're gonna get to later.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Uh, okay, yeah, we'll talk about that. Okay, so then he goes back. I thought it was cool they brought Captain back his shield. He didn't seem complete in the last one with that shield. He had those Wakandan things. I
Yeah.
didn't like those things.
He'd look badass with a beard, though.
Yeah, oh, you know what else? This is the best uniform he's ever had. He finally has the scale armor. He's never had the scale armor on his chest.
Oh, yeah.
He's never had the scales until this one. I'm gonna buy this hot toy and Thanos once they announce if they announce the right accessories. We'll get into that too. So, anyways, they do time travel. First, okay, before Tony comes back though, they tried to get the Hulk, which I'm glad they went into this because the Hulk is a gamma ray specialist, right? He's like that. That's his fucking. He's like a radioactivity guy. He's not like a Tony Stark. So he even says, "Not my specialty." But what do you think of Professor Hulk?
I liked him how
I
he was.
yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
I actually really loved it. I know there's people out there, some channels that are like, "This is stupid. He didn't Hulk out. He's not a monster anymore. He didn't get his rematch with Thanos." I'm like, dude, what you want? You want? I don't care that he doesn't get his rematch. Honestly, because the thing is, at this point, Bruce Banner has made peace with being the Hulk, and I always hated that every time he would turn into the Hulk, it was like a bad thing, like a failure. That's what I really liked in the first Avengers, where it seemed like he finally came into his own and he was able to like kind of control it. I really wish they
Yeah.
had gone a little bit more down that route, but then it felt like in Age of Ultron they reverted, and he's like, "Oh man, I turned into a monster. I can't have a family. This is horrible." I'm like, "Oh god, we're back at this shit again." Like I don't like that. Then in the third one, he kind of embraced it, and then he had weird problems. And in this one, he's just like, I'm like, okay, I like this Hulk. I like this personality too. He was awesome.
Yeah.
taking pictures with the kids and shit. That was one of the best
Yeah.
scenes.
The scene was really good.
Oh, you want a picture with the kids? He wants a picture, man. Oh, he's hurt his feelings. Oh no, he says, yeah, you want to take a picture with them? No, I'm not. I don't want a picture anymore. Dude, I love his glasses too. I want those glasses that the Hulk has.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that stuff is it's canon too, because in the early '90s and late '80s, he was Gray Hulk, and that was like a smart Hulk. So he was like that. I think the people that are mad about this are like the type of people who are into shit like Godzilla and King Kong. Those movies do not interest me whatsoever, because I think the people who like that, it relies inherently on someone thinking that a big giant monster is just cool, just for the sake that it's a big monster. And movies, to me, when the Hulk is just a big monster, he's not that interesting, because he's just a big monster. There's no, it's like Godzilla. Well, what's Godzilla's personality traits? What are the trials and tribulations of Godzilla? Oh, nothing. Okay, he's not interesting. Oh, but it's a big monster. I don't know. That's me. I don't know. How do you feel? Do you like?
Honestly, that new Godzilla movie looks really good.
Oh, really? I have no. I just don't care about
Oh,
Godzilla.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. Well, anyways, oh, do you inherently like big monster type giant shit?
Eh, not inherently.
Yeah, I don't. Not even a little. Like the King Kong movie was thought was trash. And not trash. It was just. So that's why I'm happy with this Hulk. This is actually one of my favorite incarnations of the Hulk. So anyways, they make Ant-Man turn old and young and all this shit. And then Tony's like, "Oh, he turned into a baby, didn't he?" Blah blah blah. So anyways, he builds the time machine. They go and get Hawkeye, who's gone nuts now because his family died. A lot of people like that scene, his like ninja scene or whatever.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of what they did with Hawkeye? Like this, I'm glad they've been giving him more and more.
Uh,
A lot of people just kind of don't like him, and I've never understood why they're like he doesn't do shit, but why Scarlett Johansson never gets anything. They're both just humans.
I don't dislike Hawkeye. I just don't really care for him. But I mean, I actually started to get a little interested in him in this movie. So I
Yeah,
mean that means something for someone who doesn't care about the character at all.
yeah, yeah. But I've always kind of liked Hawkeye to some degree. So let's see. So they do a test. He goes, whatever, it works. So then they all embark. They go to three different places, right? And so here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand with the time travel, right? You cannot change. You cannot change your own time by messing with the past because your past already happened, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what you do in the past, it's not going to change your future, right? It's not going to change when you go back. It doesn't change things like Back to the Future. That shit is bullshit, right? They even bring it up. They're like, no, Back to the Future is bullshit. That's not how it works. It's really you're going back. You're going into another dimension that is still in the past. And all they wanted to do was grab the stones, unsnap everybody, and then put the stones back, right? Because there were no more
Yeah.
stones, right? Because Thanos destroyed the stones. I used the stones to destroy the stones. So, so I think everybody's pretty clear with that, right? So they go and
Yes.
so the three time periods are they go to the Avengers 1, then they go to Dark World, and they go to Guardians 1.
Those scenes were really cool.
Yeah, so they sent Banner, Ant Man, Iron Man, and Captain to New York 2012. Then they sent Thor and Rocket to Asgard 13, and then they sent
Uh,
Gamora, Rhodey, and Hawkeye and Black Widow to Morag and Voromir in 2014. And I remember somebody said something stupid like why didn't they some shit about did they have to walk or why couldn't they I I don't think they realize that the machine also teleports you through space, right? So when you beam in at whatever location you set it to. And here's the thing too that a lot of people missed is it had to be you had to have the time marker like you in your timeline. So they couldn't just like that's why they couldn't just immediately appear at Voromir at the top of the mountain because none of them had been there before. And that's why those four people had to appear on Morag, right, where Peter Quill got the Power Stone. The four of them went there, and then the other two, Black Widow and Hawkeye, took the ship to Voromir to get the Soul Stone from Red Skull.
Okay. That
That,
all right. That makes
that
that makes more sense now.
yeah, because nobody had ever been there, so it wasn't in their timeline. But Nebula had been to that planet before, so they were able to beam in right there. So that's why
Well,
I remember somebody was asking online somewhere about it was something stupid. I'm like, whatever. But anyways, yeah, that's why that happened. And let's see. I thought it was. I liked the scene with Bruce Banner and the Ancient One. You didn't see Doctor Strange, huh?
no, I saw Doctor Strange.
Oh, you eventually did. Okay, so you
We
knew
watched it together.
what
Yeah.
was I
We
drinking?
watched it like yeah.
You know what? I think I have like a flash memory of this. I think
Yeah,
I
we watched it on Netflix.
I think I might have a slight memory. When did we watch it? Like last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. What was I doing last summer? Yeah, I was. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Anyway, so you knew who she was. I was all like, he's never seen Doctor Strange. Ah, that's all behind me now. We'll get to that. Uh, oh, we completely skipped. Iron Man's because when Iron Man came back and gave Captain a shield, great scene. Um, Rocket goes with Hulk to go get Thor, and he's on New Asgard now.
Oh yeah.
And what happened to Thor? Like the second I saw Thor, I immediately was like, "Oh my god, dude!" It was like it gave me the best like self reflection type of situation I think I could have possibly like even asked for. He went through all this trauma, right? First, Thanos slaughters half his people and kills his brother and one of his best friends uh, in Infinity War, and then he snaps out half of the half that's left. So he lost three-quarters of his people, and his mom died, his brother, and his dad, and he lost three-quarters of his people, and Asgard was destroyed. So I didn't like that a lot of people were like, "That's not Thor. He's supposed to be strong and a leader." Like these are the same. Like you know how I hate Superman. These are the same people who
Yeah.
like Superman. The same people who are criticizing Thor are the same people who love Superman. That's why I hate Superman because no matter what happens to him, he's always like, "Oh, it's okay. My dad died. I'm fine. No, I'm always good, no matter what." I'm like, dude, that's a Ken doll. That's not even a real person. People feel pain. Like, what you want him to just be fine? Oh, I'm still Thor. Like, that's a lot to go through. So he
Yeah, I mean, I understood it. I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah, and yeah, they use a lot of people say they turned them into a joke, and no, it's like yeah, there's comedy, but I think you can use comedy to like tell stories, to even tell get over tragic things.
Well, there's a lot of people who use comedy as like a
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a
like
therapy kind of.
it all makes sense, man. Like
Yeah,
it's not
everything.
as crazy as people think.
Yeah, everything there made sense, and dude, I was totally able to relate to Thor like so much. I'm like, listen, he turned into a fat, bearded guy who went through a traumatic thing that drinks too much and just plays PlayStation with his two buddies all day. And then I was like, holy shit, I'm Thor.
You came out of the theater feeling like a badass.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucking Thor.
And the Hulk actually reminded me when I was in another phase in my life before all that shitty shit happened. I had more like the Hulk's personality. So those two I really saw a lot of myself in. And then Rocket is actually one of the characters that I identify the most with anyway, just as my neutral kind of self. But what? So you were okay with all the Thor, Fat Thor?
Yeah, I kind of like a part of me deep down kind of wanted him to eventually just like become like a badass again towards the end of the movie, but
Yeah,
I wasn't too upset about it.
yeah. I feel like a lot of people thought that he was gonna turn back into Thor just by whipping his hammer or whatever. And
Yeah,
no,
but that
nope.
ain't how it works.
Yeah, you can't just lose weight like that. The power of Thor is not instantaneous weight loss. Uh, that's just not in the power set. So I was okay with all that. I'm glad Korg and Meek were still there. People were wondering about that. This movie really tied up all the loose ends. Like everything that I had wanted in other movies, wanted to see, and all like the loose storylines, they all got wrapped up really nicely. Because the Russo brothers,
Oh,
I think they make note of all that stuff, and they remember. They go online and they look at forums, like okay, what do people want? What are they wondering about? So, anyways,
yeah, just like how we all asked for one of them to be the first open gay character in the
oh
MCU.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was, you know what? I didn't even catch that actually the first time. I caught it on like
I
on a
didn't
movie
catch that
review.
it was one of the brothers, but
Oh, I caught
I
that it
did
was.
see what they were trying to do there.
I caught that it was one of the brothers, but I wasn't. Maybe I wasn't even listening that well. They were like, I went on a date, and I completely did not catch. Like it just was, over my head until somebody in the review was like, the first openly gay character. Okay, and whatever. That's fine. Fine. I don't care. You know what? I actually like that because if they want to make a gay character or whatever, make a gay character. That's cool. I'm cool with all that. What I don't like is when they try to change shit like they did with Iceman in the comics and say, oh, by the way, he's gay. After, like, I'm like, really? After 50 years of this character, he's gay now.
He's been in the closet for 50 years,
Yeah,
man.
he's been in the closet since the 60s. You can't just, why don't you just make a gay character? To me, it's actually, when they do that skin color swap shit and they take, like, a character that's one ethnicity and they just change the skin color? I
Yeah.
think, or they make them brown or whatever. I think that's actually antithetical to the cause they're trying to do, because to me, what that's saying, if they were to take like what they did with The Witcher, right, which is a Polish tale, and make his daughter or his adopted daughter like Indian or whatever, to me, that's really what it's saying is that group thinks that whatever Indian people or whatever that brown group that group doesn't actually have any interesting stories to say. Therefore, we're just going to take they don't have any interesting stories to tell. Therefore, we're just going to take an existing character who's actually not of that group and just paint their skin color different because that other group doesn't have anything interesting, any interesting stories. So I think it's actually worse, in my opinion, to do that. Just
Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're doing. Like that's why The Witcher lost all this interest in the Netflix show. They're like, "Oh, we want a brown certain daughter for him." And everyone's like, "Wait, what? This is a Polish tale." Oh, diversity. It's like, wait a minute. Well, why don't you just make a show about Indian people? Oh, I see. You don't think they have any interesting stories. So really, that's how I look at it. But anyway, okay. So yeah, the one of the Russo brothers is gay in the movie. Whatever. Uh, So I really like the conversation with Hulk and the Ancient One. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, it was so
I
she knew
yeah,
that he was 5 years. Which you say 5 years too early?
5 years too early because this was 2012, right? Doctor Strange came out, became Doctor Strange in 2017. When she said 5 years too early is because at that time Doctor Strange was still just a surgeon
How did she know though? Like she
because
knew
she
all
could
this was
see.
gonna go down?
Well, she has the time stone. She can see into the future.
She didn't. So, so why didn't she just like
So,
do something to stop it, or?
because remember, in Doctor Strange, she said, I've always been able to see into the future, but I can never see past this point because you can't see past when you die. And she died at the end of that movie. Remember?
Okay.
She's like, all my visions, I've never been able to see past this moment right now. Remember when she was dying in the hospital and her ghost came out?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that all right, all makes sense
So,
now.
so she never saw the Thanos snap. She didn't know anything about that.
Okay, I didn't realize she couldn't see past the point where she died.
No, you can't see past your own death. So,
Okay, makes sense.
so that's why she didn't know about Thanos or any of that shit. And I thought it was really cool how once he's like, well, Steven just gave him the stone, and she's like, what? What? Willingly? He's like, yeah, and then so she's like, okay, well, go, here you go. So that was kind of cool. Then there's the scepter, right? Which that one Captain America gets. So about a year and a half ago, there was all this controversy because a comic book came out, and it turned out that Captain America was a Hydra agent. But of course, a few issues later, he was just being a double agent, so he wasn't really in Hydra or a triple agent, however
Uh,
you want to say it. So that scene that was kind of recreating or an homage to Winter Soldier when they're in the elevator and he goes Hell Hydra, that's what they were getting at.
yeah.
Everybody clapped really loud because they all remember, it was all over Twitter. Oh, hashtag so you know the Hydra cap. Even I hashtagged that out. I was like, there's no way he's a Hydra agent. How could you possibly make, like, the writers were getting the comic book writers were getting death threats and shit.
Damn.
Yeah. What'd you
I
think
thought it
of?
was a cool scene though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because a lot of people, you saw the Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
That elevator scene is one of the best fight scenes like ever made. And everyone's like, "Oh shit, here we go." But he just uses his smarts because he's already, he knows everything. He says he's from the future, so he just Hell Hydra and he walks off with the scepter. And what'd you think of the Captain versus Captain?
Oh, that was a good scene too.
Yeah, I thought that was
And
really interesting.
when he was about to say he could do this all day, he's like, I know.
Yeah, yeah, him fighting Captain, man. That's straight comic book stuff, man. That's stuff like that happens in comics all the time. I'm really surprised how good of a job they did in the movie. Uh, yeah, and then there was the America's ass joke. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
Everybody laughed.
Paul Rudd is really funny, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
I fucking love Paul Rudd.
Yeah, and then so then Ant-Man and Tony are trying to get the Tesseract, right? By giving the old Tony a heart attack, a mild heart attack. But then the Hulk fucking does another Back to the Future thing from Back to the Future 2, where they open the door and knock out Marty. So he knocks over Tony from the future, and the Tesseract goes flying to Loki, and Loki grabs it and vanishes. So they lose the Tesseract. So here's where a lot of people get confused that somehow fucking, well, where's that stone? Where'd it go? They said you couldn't remove it from the reality. And so they didn't remove it from the reality. That stone is the space stone. All that stone lets you do is it lets you teleport around. So Loki didn't go into the future, he didn't go into the past, he just teleported to another location. Nobody knows where. So he has a TV show coming out on Netflix, and everyone's thinking that that's going to be his adventures on the TV show. It's him with the Tesseract. Maybe he gives it to Thanos.
Oh. Okay.
So that stone is not removed from that reality. It's still in that reality. He just took it. So when that happened, we've now created an alternate dimension, right? Because now in this or an alternate reality that got kind of jacked. Because in this reality now, Loki disappeared with the Tesseract. It never went back to Shield like it was supposed to. And Loki never went back to prison with Thor. So Loki just vanished, and the Tesseract vanished. So I'm sure they would look at the security footage or whatever and be like, wait, wait, who's that guy? He got knocked over by the Hulk, and then Loki vanished. But that's what happened. So then they get the idea, and then actually is my least favorite scene coming up is when they realize they have enough for one more jump, so they jump back to 1978 or 70s, whenever. After Hank Pym had made the Pym particles, so they can travel around more. So only Tony and Steve go back there, and it's a scene with Tony and his dad. What'd you think of that?
I thought that was cool,
Yeah,
but uh,
that scene seemed a little slow to me. I didn't really like that sequence in the
yeah,
70s.
it was a little slow.
Yeah, it kind of started to drag right there for a bit. I feel like it was an. I don't feel that Tony really had unresolved issues with his parents, because I remember even at the end of the first Iron Man, his dad leaves him a video and he's like, Tony, the best creation I've ever had is you. And I feel like by that point he'd already made peace with his dad by then. So that scene was kind of not needed, and I don't think we needed to be reminded of like Captain, with Peggy. I feel like they should have just got the Tesseract. Loki
Yeah,
disappearing.
I really like the Captain Peggy story though.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
never watched her show Agent Carter. I never saw it.
me
Did you?
neither.
Yeah, yeah. She got her own spin-off show, and um, but you notice she had a picture of him on her desk.
Oh,
Of
I didn't
skin.
see that.
Yeah, when he went into her office, there was a
Oh yeah,
picture.
yeah, yeah. Wait, you know what? I saw that.
Yeah, but it was when he was still
It was
skinny.
skinny him.
Yeah, yeah, it was when he was still skinny. And then I was like, damn, dude, this fucking 10 chick, she like skinny Steve? I'm
Hey,
like,
she's a real one.
yeah, dude, because usually chicks like that go for like Chris Evans types, not skinny Chris Evans.
Yeah,
That's
no,
not.
she was a true woman.
Yeah, she liked the skin and bones guy. But I was like, yeah, 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 like some maybe MILF action going. Who knows? Anyway, so they get out of there. I thought it was pretty funny. The scene with Tony hugging his dad and saying, "Oh, thank you for all you did for your country." That reminded me of another movie Robert Downey Jr. was in called Hearts and Souls, where there's these like spirits that he takes around and they have to resolve their issues. And one of them is a mom, and she takes over his body and she hugs her son, and then she jumps out of his body, but then he's still stuck there hugging her son because it's his body. And the guy's a cop, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, this is an emotional day." It reminded me of that. So I mean, I guess it was cool, but that's probably my least favorite of all the time traveling stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't bad though. It just dragged a little bit.
Yeah, and then okay, so then I thought this next part was cool. So then we go to the other, so Rocket and Thor was pretty quick. Thor starts having fucking anxiety, and that was pretty much how I was all day on yesterday when I had to give my stupid presentation. Yeah, I was having bad anxiety. I told the prof, "Oh, I'm having anxiety." Oh, oh. But so he couldn't even do it. So Rocket had to sneak in and suck it out of her, which it makes me wonder how Steve is gonna put it back at the end. He's like, "I need to inject you with some shit because I gotta put this back where it was." Because the ether, the ether is more of a gas. It's not like a fluid. It's not really a stone. But anyway, he has a nice scene with his mom. Some people got really emotional there. People that had lost their mothers. And you know what? There's a couple things, sometimes, I wish I could still talk to my mother, but I thought that was an actually pretty touching scene. What'd you think of Thor with his
Yeah, I
mom?
like that scene.
Yeah, and
It was sad but really touching.
yeah, because that was the day that she died. He's like, oh my god, she's gonna die this day. And I thought it was cool that she knew it wasn't him. She's like, "You're not my Thor." She's like, "You're from a different time." And then he's like, "No, no, yeah, Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm totally from the future. And she's like, you should eat a salad. So then I thought it was cool. You know, I fucking love the running joke where he's like the Big Lebowski now. Like,
Yeah.
to me, it never got old. Because I was like, dude, now this is representation in movies. The fat neck beard guy whose life is fucked now. I was happy every time I saw Thor. It made me feel good. And then he called that hammer. It's just funny because he's in his pajamas, pants, and slippers in Asgard, and the hammer still comes to him. So I thought that was cool because you saw Thor Ragnarok, right? So you know that thing was destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, hella shattered that thing. So I thought that was cool to see the hammer back. So they leave. That was a pretty easy mission, and then actually Rhodey and Nebula, they got the stone really quick. Rhodey pretty much just grabbed it and left. But then Nebula short circuits out because she's on the same Wi-Fi network or whatever as Nebula from the past.
She's connected to the same Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so everyone's like, wait, why do we have the same IP address twice? What is this? What's going on? Your guy stood up. Oh.
Had to stretch.
Yeah. So then Thanos learns everything because they download all that stuff, and they grab Nebula. So here's a little bit of a plot hole because after she came back, she tried to use the phone thing to call Hawkeye and Black Widow to be like, Thanos knows, but then she gets beamed up and can't move. But I'm like, dude, why didn't she just like immediately? I mean, I guess she tried to warn them and then they grabbed her. I guess I can kind of see, right? She ran to the ship to warn the other two about Thanos. Then she got beamed up. You can't move when you're getting beamed up. And then they immediately knocked her out and took the band off her arm, so she couldn't travel. So they send back the evil Nebula of the past. I thought it was cool that future Nebula started talking to old Gamora, because everyone knows by this time that Gamora always had doubts about Thanos, you know?
Yeah.
Also to see what'd you think of that conversation when Gamora she asks Nebula, like, what happens to us in the future? And she's like, I try to kill you a bunch of times, but eventually we become friends and sisters. Or are you interested in that sister? I thought that sister storyline was really good, and they played into it more in Guardians too.
I didn't really like. It was whatever.
Okay.
I was kind of just like, okay, that's cool. They made up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice that Gamora's back, but
it's not the same Gamora,
she's
right?
not. Yeah, but she's not like really back. So that's gonna make it interesting in Guardians 3.
Yeah, because remember at the end of this movie, it says searching, right? And he's looking for Gamora. Which we'll get to the snap and the unsnapping and how it works. A lot of people were asking, what did she get snapped? How did Tony know that she wasn't? And it's like, no, that's not how the gauntlet works. It understands what is your will. And his will was dust all of Thanos' forces. Like, that was his intention. So the gauntlet knows what it is. He doesn't have to sit there, I want you to dust Peter,
this guy,
Sean.
This guy.
Yeah. That's not how that shit works. Thanos didn't know half the people of the universe. He's just like half gone randomly now. Anyway, then leads to the first time that I almost got tears. Or I kind of did. Was when they have to get the Soul Stone. And they said Hawkeye and Black Widow. So, once Red Skull started to talk to them at the top of the mountain, and he's like, a soul for a soul. I like put my hands over my mouth. I was like, oh my god. And that's when I realized one of them is about to die.
Oh no, I realized right off the bat, as soon as they landed there, I was like, yeah, one of these people are gone.
Oh, really? I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that.
I'm surprised you didn't think about that. I knew that from the get-go. As soon as they were like, "Oh, we need to go here," I was like, "All right, well, who's gonna go there?" And then I saw those two, and I was like, all right, one of them's gonna be gone."
I didn't think about it until after.
I was hoping it was gonna be Hawkeye because I like Black Widow, but I kind of just expected it to be Black Widow just because it made the most sense.
I did not know who it was gonna be because they were fighting like she zapped. He tripped her, but then she zapped him. Then his arrow, and then he jumped, and I was like, oh my god! And then she still jumped and grabbed him, and she shot his
I
little
thought it was.
grapple.
He's pretty lucky that he lived. She really cut it close to having them both die instead of just one of them.
Yeah, so a lot of people were like, I only love myself. If you jump, like, do you wake up dead with the stone in your hand? And in the water? And you know what somebody said? And fucking, well, I don't even know if I thought it or somebody said, like, hey, why didn't they just send Thor there? And then he just pours the beer over the edge. He's like, oh, this is what I love. I'm sure that's going to be a cartoon somewhere on the internet. It'll show him crying, and then it zooms out, and he's like pouring a keg over the side. Oh man! So Hawkeye gets the stone. He comes back, and he's like, Hulk's like, "Well, where's Nat? She didn't make it." And at this point, nobody knows that that nebula that's there is the bad nebula. And Thanos knows everything now, right?
Yeah.
So here's the other thing people have kind of problems with is how they're like, I thought Tyrion Lannister had to build the gauntlet. How come Tony can just build one like that? Here's the thing. They had the other gauntlet from when they cut it off of Thanos' arm. That nanotech can duplicate the molecular structure of anything because it's down to the molecular level. So since they had that thing, he just programmed the nanotech to take whatever form it needed and do the same job as the gauntlet. So I buy it. Do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't have a problem with it.
All right. Some people have a problem with
I
that.
thought it was cool how it like formed to the hand, like how it could fit on
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
Tony's hand or the
Or
Hulk's
Hulk's hand.
hand.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was cool too. And that plays in later, right? Because it's its own tech. So we'll talk about that later. I thought that scene was really cool when Rocket's like, "Boo!"
Oh yeah.
Everybody, everybody started laughing. I think I jumped too when he did that. So then Thor wants to do the fucking anti-snap, and everyone's like, you're drunk." So no. And then the Hulk ends up doing it. Did you think the Hulk was gonna die? I didn't think so.
Uh, I didn't really know what to expect when he did it. Because I was like, you know what, he's big, he might
Yeah,
survive.
yeah. I thought he'd get burned. It's exactly what I thought would happen. Is what happened. I thought he'd get burned, but still live like Thanos. You know, I thought what happened to Thanos is what would happen to him. And
Yeah.
a lot of people complain we didn't see any Hulk moments in the big fight at the end. But I love what they did with the Hulk.
Yeah.
It's very comic book. Um, anyways, so he snaps. Everybody comes back. Um, and Hawkeye's wife's calling him. And the cool thing is, to them, it's instantaneous, right? They like dissolved, and then it's just like they woke up a few seconds later, right? But 5 years have gone by. So here's the thing: at this time, right when they get unsnapped, Doctor Strange he gets right to work. He knows exactly what he needs to do because he's already been to the future and he's seen everything, right? So he immediately doesn't happen on screen, right? Happens off screen. He goes around
Yeah.
gathering fucking everybody, opening portals, fucking Wakanda, the fucking the other wizards, the Asgardians, everybody. This is all happening in the background, and then the missiles come in from Thanos' ship because Nebula was hiding in the little time machine room, and a lot of people were like, "How does she know to use the machine?" So in the movie, you could see she plugs her fingers into the machine and downloads its, how to fucking use it.
Yeah.
So that's how she's able to bring Thanos back. And she took the pin particles off of Nebula and gave it to Thanos, and they put it on the ship. And a lot of people were like, "How could it shrink the whole ship? How could it work?" And if anyone saw the second Ant-Man, you know that is possible because in that one they're shrinking entire buildings and fucking cars. And if you shrink the car, everyone in the car shrinks too. So I guess, whatever. That's an improvement. They showed that in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So that's why people must have forgot that. That's why you could shrink his whole ship. Because some people were complaining, "How did you shrink? What all the people inside?" Like, they already showed that you can do that. Anyway, so he comes back. He blows up all the Avengers, the whole base. So people again have problems with how they survive. Whatever. I'll buy it that they survived. Then there's a really cool scene with Hawkeye that kind of reminded me of Aliens when he's going through the hallway.
Oh yeah.
I thought that scene was really cool.
Oh, when that missile first came in too, by the way, I thought Ant-Man died. For a second there,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
so did I.
it scared the shit out of me, and I was like, "Oh damn, Ant-Man's dead."
Yeah, that would be a sad thing to lose that guy because he's such a happy guy. It's like,
Hey
oh,
guys, look.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So the whole place is trash. Rocket's like, "I can't breathe." Oh. I felt bad for Rocket, man. He's actually he's not my favorite comic book character. Captain America is, but I think Rocket might be my favorite character in the MCU. I really identify with him a lot.
He's a good character.
Yeah, and you know what else? You know how James Gunn got fired off of Guardians for his pedophile
Yeah.
jokes, but he got rehired like a couple months ago? He said
Yeah.
that he identifies the most with Rocket, and the thing that made him because he's back now, but he was saying the thing that made him the most sad when he got first got fired was he's like, "I'm never going to be able to finish Rocket's story." He's like, part 3 was going to focus on Rocket and finish off his story, but he's back now, so I'm like, yes.
Does that mean they're gonna kill Rocket?
No, I think he has unresolved issues, like Wolverine. He doesn't know who made him, where he came from, if he has a family. He doesn't know any of that. You know?
Yeah.
In fact, speaking of family, I like when he was talking to Thor, and he's like, "Man, I lost my whole family, too." He's like, "Quill, Gamora, Drax, the chick with the antenna."
Oh yeah, the chick with the antenna.
That's a useless character. What did she do in the battle? Go around touching people's sleep.
I mean, she almost got Thanos.
In something like that, an ambush, yeah. But what's she gonna do in a battlefield? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she was a good character in the second Guardians movie.
no, I don't
She
hate
was
her.
funny.
She's funny. I like her. She's got good jokes. I thought it was really cute in the second Guardians when she touches Drax, and you know how Drax doesn't show emotion, but she touches
Yeah.
him and she immediately starts crying. That was really touching. Because he's sad, he just doesn't show it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so okay, so then the whole place is jacked up. Then you get Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America confronting this is old school Thanos, right? He's from 2014. So this Thanos, he's not even going to try and wipe out half the universe. He says, "I'm going to..." Someone else was confused about this too. Did he mean... No, Thanos said he's going to destroy the planets by hand. I'm like, no, that's stupid, and that would take forever. He said he's going to shred the universe to its last atom and then create new life. Basically, he's going to be God, right?
Yeah.
And so that was his new plan. Because he's like, yeah, you guys you could not live with your failure. And where did that bring you? Back to me. That's a badass line. That's some badass shit to say.
Yeah.
And okay, so then the fight that ensues. What'd you think?
Oh my God.
That had
This
the
it's
my favorite
just
part of the movie.
fucking amazing. Are you talking about with the hammer?
Hell yeah, dude. Dude, I yelled.
Oh,
I'm usually quiet in the theaters and in the comics. So this is one of those things that I had a wish list. I was like, they have to give Captain America Mjolnir. They have to let him use it because in the comics, Captain America has picked it up before. And
dude,
then Asia
that's
and then
just one of the greatest moments
yeah,
of in any movie
ever.
ever.
Yeah, that had to be one of my favorite. I think that might be my favorite moment in all of cinema history because they teased it in Age of Ultron when he budged it. Remember at the party,
Yeah.
and a lot
And
of
Thor
people
got a little worried.
are saying he actually could lift it.
He just
I heard,
wasn't. That's what I was
but
thinking.
he didn't want to hurt his feel. He didn't want to hurt Thor's feelings. So I've heard
And
that
I
theory.
was thinking that like a few days ago because rewatched that scene, and I was like, I think he didn't want to pick it up because he didn't want to hurt his feelings.
Yeah, because the hammer doesn't. I don't know that it's like you're either worthy or you're not. It's not like you're kind of worthy, so you can budget a little. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It either moves or it doesn't move. So I think Steve was like, "Oh, I can lift it," but he just left it because he just didn't want to. He was, he was being a nice guy and shit. But in that moment,
Yeah.
when Thor's about to get Stormbreaker through his chest, and I knew because I think it seemed like a lot of people when they saw the hammer go flying at Thanos, they thought Thor was calling it. But you need your hand to summon the hammer. You have to have your hand out. So that's number one. Thor didn't have his hand out because he had his hand on the axe because Thanos was shoving it into it. And two, if he was calling it, it would have went straight to Thanos, but it was going up. Remember that shot?
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw the hammer moving up? Did you think Thor was calling it, or did you think Captain was grabbing
No,
it?
it all happened so fast that like I was like, what's going on? And then I saw Captain America grab it. And I was just like,
Well, he didn't
like, oh
just
my
grab it;
God.
he summoned it back into his hand, right? Because it hit
Yeah.
Thanos, and then it stopped, and then it returns into his hand. And that's when the theater was like,
Yeah, that made the
"Oh!"
theater get loud.
And I knew he was grabbing it because it was moving up, and the top of the handle was off screen. You can only see the bottom of the hammer. And I was like, are they doing it? Like, when I saw it moving up, I was like, are they doing it? Are they doing it? And then when I saw it stop and start going back, I was like, I think they're doing it. And then I saw it appear in his hand, and I was like, oh my god! And then the next scene, the next shot, is the greatest shot I've ever seen in cinema. Fucking Captain America starts spinning that hammer. He's running at Thanos. And then he jumps in the air and with like the moon and shit in the background, smashes Thanos right in the face. Like that scene right there, I need that poster. I need that painted on my wall. Like that's the greatest shit I've ever seen. When he did that jumping attack and he smashed Thanos, Thanos goes flying. I yelled out in the theater. I was like, "Oh!" And I'm usually quiet. And I'm like, oh, oh my god, dude, that was the greatest shit I've ever seen. That was the greatest shit I've ever seen.
Uh,
I'll go back. I'll pay for a full ticket just to see that over and over. I'm gonna make that shit my desktop, my wallpaper, fucking everything. That was the greatest shit, man. And then he's like
yeah,
summoning,
that was
he's summoning
fucking
lightning,
awesome.
zapping Thanos, calling lightning on him. Oh my god! And he's doing combos with the shield. Like he did like that sonic boom smash. He threw the shield behind Thanos, then hit it with the hammer. It knocks Thanos forward. He like bounces the shield off Thanos' face and smashes it back again with the hammer. Oh, oh my god! He had like the hammer and shield combo. Like I like they had some callbacks in that fight too, like where Thor. Because remember in the first Avengers, he tried to lightning Tony and it just supercharged his suit.
Yeah.
And in this one, he specifically opened up his back and he's like, "All right, charge it, Thor," and then he like zaps Thanos. That was earlier though. I really liked that they gave Captain that moment, man. That was the greatest shit in all of cinematic history. That's better than Indiana Jones and the Boulder. That's better than Luke Skywalker in the fucking Death Star trench run. That's better than Marty McFly trying to catch the lightning bolt. That's better than Elliot and E.T. in front of the moon. That's better than Jaws and the fucking fin. That's better than fucking Psycho with the shower scene. It's better than all that shit. That was the shit. That was like... That was... I could have died, like... I would have lived a full life if I died after that scene. Changed my life. That was like... Man, I don't know. That was like... If whatever Hollywood actress, woman of your dreams, if you finally got to bang her, that would be the moment you fucking ejaculate. That was it right there. That was climax.
That was it.
Yeah. You have anything to add?
No, man, you put that you put that perfectly. Those words were perfect.
Yeah. Yes. 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 I'm the master orator. All right. Then Thanos finally gets a slices Steve's leg. Everybody in the audience was like, "Whoa!" And then he pretty much smashes his shield. People had problems with this scene because they're like, "Oh, it's vibranium," and everyone's like, "No, motherfucker, that's the hardest shit on Earth, not in the universe. So we don't have everything that the universe has. So Thanos has some superior shit."
Yeah.
And they were complaining about how he could turn his blade so fast to block Tony's blasts, when they didn't realize it was motorized. He wasn't even moving his hand. You could see it was motorized.
No, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I could because I've seen it 6 times. So then, it's another great scene. Captain gets back up. If the fucking music... Oh, this movie's should win for best score. Alan Silvestri should get an Oscar. He tightens his shield, right? He's like, ah. And Thanos is like, you're annoying, stupid world. I'm going to enjoy destroying it. All those dog things come, like, everything. Giant, big, alien, hairy monsters. Here comes Thanos' evil army. And I was wondering, and Steve Rogers stands up to the whole army by himself. What were you thinking in that moment?
I was just... My heart was racing. I was just in awe of how insane the previous scene was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you didn't get a time, to process.
It was just so much crazy shit, like, coming at you at once that I was just like, my brain couldn't process it all at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like overwhelmingly badass.
Yeah. Oh man. And then just when you think all hope is lost, at first I didn't know when he's like, "Hey Cap, it's Sam." I somehow didn't hear Sam, and I didn't connect it. I thought that was Rhodey for some reason. Like, I didn't. I was like, "Wait, what?" And then he said, "On your left," and then I was like, "Wait, what is?" I was like, it took me a while to realize, "Oh shit, that's Falcon." And then you see the fucking portal, right?
Yeah.
Opening and fucking T'Challa. What'd you think when you saw the portal?
Well, that was so cool, and then I was like, alright, is there gonna be more? And then there was more, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that portal, I was like, oh, here comes everybody. Here comes everybody. And then T'Challa comes. Hey, Bombay! Hey, Bombay! And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. And then you see Doctor Strange, man, all the Guardians, Spider-Man, your boy.
Yeah.
He comes swinging in. People get complaining, what's his web attaching to? Like, look, motherfucker, there's floating rocks and shit, okay? There's Giant worms.
Yeah.
That's what it's sticking to. Don't worry about it. A plot hole. My ass. Oh, also, some people, God, I hate when people take what's in other movies and they apply it to like this movie. Because somebody, you know who it was? It was Angry Joe. Was like, how come Gamora didn't die when she shot the other Gamora? And I'm like, dude, you're invoking the rules of the movie Looper on this shit. And why would you invoke the rules of Looper, Mister? I hate Ryan Johnson because that's his movie.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't die. They already said, like, you don't fucking change your own shit by doing something to the past. So here again is another alternate timeline is created, right? Because in this other timeline, in that timeline, Thanos and all of his people, and Gamora and Nebula, they just disappeared one day and nobody knows where they went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because they came to this year. So, anyways, our Gamora shoots the old Gamora, and I thought that was kind of fucked up, man, because she dies, just full of hatred, and she had a thug tear. You see, like when she died, she had like
Yeah.
one thug tear. She was like, "Oh, I've had a terrible life."
My life sucks.
You have to do the farting sound, or actually, do you think she farts or poos? She doesn't eat food, does she?
I don't know.
Does she eat food?
Uh, maybe.
I wonder because she was giving all her food to Tony on the ship. Do you think she? You think she does it? Nah, that's why she's angry.
Ah.
That's why Daenerys burned everything. Spoiler, just kidding.
Yeah. Well, who's that? Huh?
Anyway, so then everybody comes back, and that was such a happy moment, man. You see, dude, Valkyrie looks so good. Her whole design is awesome with the Pegasus. I love
Oh
that.
yeah.
I love that design, dude. Every time I started flying around, that shit was fucking cool. Then Mr. Wu comes back with all the wizards and shit. Every fucking character over the past 11 years. I kind of wanted Vision to come back. I thought by now, because he's a cyborg, so I would have thought, unless Shuri was dusted, that maybe they could have repaired him by now. I'm sure they'll repair him. They could bring him back. He's a cyborg,
Yeah.
or he's no, he's not a cyborg. Cyborg means part human, part. He's an android. Anyway, dude. So then the battle's on, and then the music swells. Dun 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 dun. I have the soundtrack. That's how I know it. And then and then finally, Captain America says the words, "Avengers." But I don't like that he said "assemble" so slow. It was like "Avengers." Then he calls the hammer, "Zoom, assemble." Like, wait, why didn't they say them both loud? It's like Avengers. Dude, and then that battle. Oh, and also Pepper comes in. So you wanted to bring that up. So
Yeah.
in the comic books, she turns into Rescue. I was okay with it. You know why? Because I think I saw I was in one of the Punisher movies that most guys, like cops and stuff, and even in general guys who are gun owners, teach their wives how to use the weapons, right? And Tony's already paranoid
Yeah.
about protecting things as it is. So especially once they had a child, it would stand to reason that he would teach Pepper how to use one of the suits, give her own suit. Plus, remember at the beginning, his daughter's got the helmet on, and he's like, "That's mom's, isn't it?" And then he was like, "She never wears anything I give her." He's like, "I made that for your mom." So he had made her a suit and taught her how to use it because he knew, he might not be there one day, and psychos might come. So to me, it all made sense. That made sense.
To me, Pepper never liked him being Iron Man in the first place, and always wanted him out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but remember,
That I wouldn't see her ever being like, okay, yeah, I'll let you train me to be like this.
yeah, but
I expected her to just be like, no, let's just be done with it.
no, but she's not gonna be Iron Man. She's just in case something ever happened, she's able to defend the home. You know what I mean? She's
Yeah, I
not.
just didn't
Sh
like how she managed to like pull up like some badass right off the bat. Like,
no, but it'd been 5 years. Remember, 5 years later.
yeah, I know, but
S-
what
s-
what what did she have to practice on for 5 years?
it's just
Like
you
she
go
all
to.
of a sudden was able to. It's not that big of a deal. I mean,
I did mind it
I'm
all.
nitpicking here.
See,
It's
if
just
it
it
yeah,
was.
if it had happened earlier in another movie, and like she suddenly just puts it on and can do shit, I would have been bothered. But 5 years passed. He trained her how to use it in the 5 years because something might happen to him. He might not be there. She needs to be able to protect things. And
Yeah.
she already said, "I accept you." She's like, "Go work on your time machine." She's like, "I know you can't," or go back to the Avengers. She's like, "I know you. I accept you." So I bought it all. Uh, so I thought it was cool. I was happy to see her there. I was sad Vision didn't come back. Like Wanda came back. Um, Wanda messed up Thanos the most.
Yeah.
She was about to rip him apart, and that's when he's like, rain, fire, all these missiles come down. And before we get to that, I also like the little like football kind of thing they did where they're passing around the gauntlet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Wasp came back. I really like the Wasp, man. I wish she had had a bigger role. The Wasp is one of my favorite female Avengers, and she was actually an original Avenger. She was one of the first ones. Her and Ant Man. Oh, and Ant Man turns giant. He busts out of the fucking building with Hulk and Rhodey and Rocket. And then, of course, you get your battle, man. Everybody's fighting each other. I love that shot with Giant Man just punching one of those big ass worms, like right in the head.
Oh
Boom.
yeah.
Dude, all these ships. That shit was one of the greatest things I've seen, man. There's just so much like eye candy going on. Everybody fighting, all this shit. I like the part where Gamora comes across Peter, and she asks her sister. She's like, "Wait, this is the guy? This is the guy I'm supposed to be in love with?" They're like, Nebula's like, "Yeah, it was either him or a tree." So, I thought that was pretty cool. And anyway, to kind of begin to wrap. Oh, what'd you think of the all the females suddenly standing in the exact same spot? This is after Captain Marvel came back. I actually liked the way they used her. They didn't use her that much because nobody wanted to see her just solve everything, because she hasn't earned it
Yeah,
yet.
I didn't. I honestly didn't mind her.
I
I
didn't
liked
mind
her
her either.
look with the short hair,
I like her better with the short hair too. Yeah, yeah.
which is surprising.
She was
It it,
better in this one than in her
it
own
fit her
movie.
character well.
Yeah, yeah. She looks like that in the comics. She has a short hair. I think
That was a cool scene with all the female characters standing there.
the problem, I felt it was too forced. I don't mind the females kicking ass and all that. Like I like Valkyrie. I also hope Valkyrie doesn't become Thor. I want her to be Valkyrie because then it's back to what I said. Just like that terrible new
Yeah.
Catwoman or Batwoman commercial that came out that everybody downvoted on YouTube. It's terrible. She's like, yeah, you can't give a man credit for a woman's work, and it's like, wait a minute, you broke into the Batcave and stole all this shit, and you're talking about not someone taking credit. I don't need to use a man's shit, but you are using a man's shit.
Shut up.
Yeah, you're sexist. Anyway, the scene is fine. Why would they all be standing right there at that specific moment in the battle?
Yeah. It's a little forced. I mean, like,
It's
what are
way,
the odds
dude.
that all of them were there? But
It's
whatever.
forced. They were all off.
It
Like
was
Wasp was with Ant Man. The other ones were
it
all.
was cool. They get a pass.
I gave it a pass because I was enjoying everything so much. That's the only reason why I gave it a pass because everything else was so badass. I was like, to me, it was just kind of like, okay, fine, back to the cool shit. And then Eventually, okay, so eventually it gets to where the gauntlet gets loose. Tony grabs it, and because the gauntlet's nanotech and he's got nanotech, he's able to suck the stones off and put it in his own gauntlet, right? And then he's like, "I am Iron Man." And then I actually heard there was a draft where instead of that he says "fuck you" and he snaps.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't use
Well,
it. And
I saw the Russo brothers saying that the original
he didn't say
scene, he
anything.
doesn't say
Yeah,
anything.
he
He
didn't
just
say anything.
smiles.
But then they said when they were editing it, they needed him to say something, and so they went back and shot it after the fact. And they
Yeah,
said that was the
one of the
last thing they
editors
shot.
came
Yeah,
up with the line.
yeah, yeah. And they're like, okay. I knew he was gonna say that when he was like, "and I," was like, okay, I am Iron Man, because it's fact from the first movie.
Yeah. That scene was. Ugh.
So then he snaps away all of Thanos' forces, um, and then he dies. So Rhodey's there. Peter Parker's there. I thought the little reunion with Peter Parker and Tony was nice, where he just gives him a hug finally. Because remember, he wouldn't
Yeah.
hug him. And a lot of people criticize him too because he didn't seem to want to go back in time until he saw Peter Parker's picture on the shelf, and he's like, "Okay, I got something personal in it," but I was whatever. And then Pepper finally says, "We're gonna be okay. You can rest now." And
Ugh.
he's like, "We're gonna be okay." And then he dies. When his light flickered, I was like, "Oh damn, damn son."
I felt my heart flicker out right there.
I didn't feel it so much until the funeral. When they're panning across, oh my god, and that beautiful song from the soundtrack that I bought. It's like, oh, no, dude, I can't even play 2 seconds. I'll get a copyright thing. And it's all like, oh god. Then they're panning, dude. That is straight from the comics. When someone dies, they always have all the panels with all the little groups of characters. You know, the Hulk in his suit. It's like sad Hulk. Oh, it has sad Steve Rogers, Pepper and his kid, everybody, and then the one fucking kid that nobody knew who the fuck it was. He's there for some reason. And then Nick Fury. You know who that kid was, right?
No.
Dude, that's the little boy from Iron Man 3 that was in the garage.
Oh, what? Why was he there?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, wait a minute. You met this Tony for like one afternoon, or for, I don't know how long was he there? A day? 2 nights?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it, but like, come
Yeah.
on.
Plus, the kid is so gross. Nobody fucking recognized it. Everybody, and even the Russo brothers, said that kid is older because he was like 13 and now he's like 19 or whatever. So he looks nothing the same. And I was like, who the fuck is that? I remember everyone's, who the fuck is that guy? Somebody said they thought Steve Rogers somehow turned into a kid again and that was him. Like, wait. That really, it was so confusing, man. And you know, all those people were really there on the same day. They filmed that. That was
Yeah.
one of the first scenes they shot because they shot it together with Infinity War. So really, they shot this like 2 years ago. And then I remember everyone didn't even know. Like, everyone's like, "Wait, Michelle Pfeiffer, Ant-Man and the Wasp hadn't even come out yet when they filmed this." So like, Tom Holland, when he was there, he's like, "Wait, is that Michelle Pfeiffer? Why is she here?" Because nobody knew she was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude, that's when I got the fucking tears. Like, was at the funeral when they're panning across. Right when they right when they got to said Hulk, I was like, oh, dude. And were there people crying in your theater?
Oh, dude, there's so many people
Yeah,
crying.
yeah, man. You know what bothered me though? When they set the little raft out, why didn't they put another little raft for Black Widow?
'Cause I think they were already done.
With her?
Yeah, and she didn't really. I don't know. I guess
She didn't have.
when you
Well,
think about it, the
'cause
sacrifice was the same.
yeah, well, because Tony was a
Yes.
public figure. Black Widow didn't have anybody. I mean, it made me really sad when they're like, "Does she have family?" And Steve was like, "Yeah, us." I was like, "Oh, oh." I was sad. I was sad when she died. I couldn't believe that. Man, you know that scene when she's hanging on the cliff? I was like, damn, Scarlett Johansson's really pretty. And she, and
And then
she
she's dead.
and then she's dead. Oh, because she doesn't have. There's a certain face shape I like. She doesn't have that, but in that scene, I was like, oh, she's pretty. Anyway, I feel like they should have just put some shit on the a little thingy. Have two of them, but they just had one for Tony, so fucking
Yeah.
fine, fine. And then a lot of people said in the next scene when his when Happy is asking his daughter what he wants, she's like cheeseburgers. That they got sad there too because
Yeah, that made me sad.
yeah, because I knew exactly, because that's what he wanted when he came back from captivity. He's
Yeah.
like, cheeseburger first. In fact, he was eating the cheeseburger, I think, right? Upstage, on the stage, when he's like, I am Iron Man. And, okay, so that ends. And, Thor makes fucking Valkyrie the queen. I hope she's not the new Thor. I don't want a new Thor. I just wanted her to be Valkyrie. And, then Steve. So here's another thing where people say there's a problem of Steve going back and how could he be on the bench? So Steve put all the stones back, and I think you could even make a Captain America 4 about all this because it would have been awkward when he goes back to Red Skull and he's like, "Hey, I think I'm supposed to give you back this stone, but I thought you were dead."
Eh.
That's gonna be kind of awkward.
Like, no, I'm just here watching this now. Okay.
Yeah, well, here's the stone back. See you later. Gotta go. Like, it'd be interesting how they put everything back. Like, he would have had to go back to 1970s, right? Because to put the Tesseract, I guess he could sneak in and do that. Um, the Time Stone, he could just hand it back. I guess also the Soul Stone, he could hand it back. He's gonna have to re-inject Natalie Portman with that shit. Um, the Scepter, I guess, he'll just come back and throw it back in the elevator. Like they'll see old Cap leave, and then I don't know. Maybe he'll wait for him at the bottom of the elevator. Here's the Scepter back, or whatever.
Yeah.
And he puts the hammer back. But anyway, what do you think of him getting old?
I liked it, man.
I liked it too. He lived a happy life.
I really, really like how it cut to the credits.
Uh,
I loved how it just ended with him and what's her face.
and Peggy Carter, yeah,
Yeah.
I was completely satisfied. He went back. He stayed in his time. He lived his life. So that creates another timeline, right? Because in that timeline, he went back, and I was completely satisfied at that point. I'd seen everything. There's no credits scene. I saw everything that I needed to see. It was great. You have anything to add?
That was one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, dude, I gave it a 100. I had to. That was the most satisfying. Everything that I wanted to see. There's no loose ends. His story's wrapped up. He lives a happy, full life. Thor goes off with the Asgardians of the galaxy, and he has that scene. He's like,
Oh yeah.
you mean me, right? I'm in charge.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yes, of course, of course, of course. That face, dude, Chris Hemsworth's hilarious. You know the new Men in Black is with him and Valkyrie are in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. Ugh.
It might be good. I don't know. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, dude, I give it a 100, and I'm probably gonna go see it again, maybe Sunday or something, because I have to go see Les Miserables tomorrow evening.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's worthy of a 100 without a doubt.
Yeah, man. Did you like this one better than Infinity War? Because
I
Infinity
don't know.
War left us with questions like, Dude, this movie annihilated the box office. The record was Infinity War with 257, and people were like, "Can it make 300 million domestic in one weekend?" It made 357 by $100 million. It beat the record, and then worldwide, it made 1.2 billion dollars in one weekend, in 3 days.
So,
It might catch
what did
Avatar.
Avatar make?
2.7 billion, and this movie right now is at like 2.5, 2.6. It's gonna
Oh,
catch it. It's
it's
gonna
gonna
catch it.
catch it.
Avatar opened with $70 million, but the thing is, it stayed there. You know, it didn't go down hardly at all. This movie's dropped a bit, but I think also the time it came out. Like Avatar came out in December, so there was no competition. This movie is like, I had like my project. There's finals. People are graduating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it'll have another surge this weekend, and certainly Memorial Day weekend.
I hope it passes Avatar.
Me too. This is way better to have in first place. It already passed Titanic, and I hope it passes Force Awakens domestically.
Yeah,
I
it's a
everyone,
masterpiece.
yeah, dude. Uh, I have no idea. Now they have to really rebuild. They got some characters that are staying, that have sequels, like Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2. I want to see Namor, the Submariner, because remember in that at that scene where Black Widow's talking to the holograms, whatever, what's her name from Walking Dead? She's like, there was an earthquake in the ocean, so everyone's saying that that's Submariner or Namor.
Uh,
Basically, he's like the Aquaman in Marvel, except his personality is a lot different. He can fly, and he's like a kind of a dick. And sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. But
I'm also curious on how the hell Peter's still in high school and far from home.
because he got snapped.
Yeah, but he came back 5 years later.
Yeah, but he didn't age. Remember when I got
Yeah,
all
but
dusty?
the school and like all of his friends were still there.
Because they got snapped too. His friends got snapped. All his friends got snapped.
What?
It was bad luck. Yeah, not the whole schools. Half the school did not get snapped, but all
So
his
the
friends.
school was just like, "Hey, welcome back, guys."
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like they're gonna be. See, here's another
I
thing.
don't-
People are like, well, where are all the teachers? Where are they gonna get all the teachers? I'm like, motherfucker, half the teachers are back now too. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah, I guess.
Because remember, for the people who got snapped, to them it's just like they passed out and woke up immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even Peter was like, I think I passed out because then I woke up. And Doctor Strange was like, it's been 5 years. And I'm like, 5 years? That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we should wrap it up.
Yep, so
It's 2
anyways,
a.m.
yep, this movie's a masterpiece. It's getting late, it's 2 a.m. You guys should really go see it. I could probably keep talking about this even some more. I think we covered almost everything, but anyways, you got anything else to add, Venom?
I can't wait for Far From Home.
Yeah, man, it starts right after this one. I think Mysterio's full of shit. He's not from no alternate universe. It's just gonna be a disappointment. They're trying to trick us. He's just a liar. Mysterio's a liar and an actor. I think he's gonna be like Syndrome, right? He's making all those hallucinations
Yeah.
to pretend to be a hero.
I think it's still gonna be a good movie though.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think they're trying to make the Sinister Six because we got Mysterio now, Vulture, we saw Scorpion. So we need another Electro, and you gotta have Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Yeah, Electro, Doc Ock. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're missing the Goblin.
The Goblin's not really one of them. I think they might have Craven, because the Chameleon they're saying is going to be in this one, and I think that's the Craven's
I
brother.
thought the Hobgoblin isn't even one.
He is. He has been at times. He has been. He has been at sometimes. He replaced Craven. when Craven
I
left.
guess you know what? I don't want to see them do a Hobgoblin or a
I
Green Goblin just
Yeah, because they've
because.
done it too much already.
Yeah,
He's in everyone. I'm like, oh, dude, no more goblin shit. Just like sometimes the Joker can get
that
overused.
last one was just so bad. Oh god,
Which one?
the the fucking Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, that was fucking piece of shit.
That Green Goblin was just oh god.
He looked like he looked like those little tree people from a fucking
Looked like
Game
the evil
Game of
leprechaun
Thrones.
things.
Yeah, yeah, from Game of Thrones, the little tree people that throw the fireballs out of their ass.
Protecting the three-eyed raven guy.
Yeah.
Oh god.
At least he's not the one-eyed snake. All
Now we're getting
right.
off track.
Yeah, all right. Anyways, you guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm going to stand up now. How do I salute? Oh, shit, LJT's calling me. How do I salute? How do you do your emote? Oh, that's how I point.
Click down on both the thumbsticks.
All right, and I will see you guys. Wait, I will see you guys. Oop, why am I facing that way? See you guys later. Okay, bye. Salute. All right, bye.